Now we're going to go check in with New Jersey, and in a minute we'll speak with Governor Phil Murphy. But first, FiOS 1's Tom Murphy, no relation. He is live in Mendham. Tom?
Well, good evening, Richard. That's right. We're on Yardley Road in Mendham, and I want to show you exactly what we're looking at right now because we've been here all afternoon into the evening, and in just the few hours that we've been here, we've seen at least 5 trees come down right here on Yardley Road, and you can see what's happening. The snow is so heavy that it's piling up onto the branches, and those trees and the branches are coming down and falling down into the street. Now, they're also falling onto the power lines, and we're told that the people in this area don't have power today, and this is after the power was just turned on from last weekend's storm. For Laurel Riley and the rest of Mendham,
we were part of the section of Mendham that was out till last night. So we went out, power went out Friday around 2:30 and came back last night, and you heard yippee-yi-yay, yippee-yi-yo from the whole neighborhood running outside.
Wednesday's storm came just as they were recovering from last weekend's.
Yeah, I think anticipation. I think this storm kind of surprised us a bit in that we had a little bit of warning, but I think it was supposed to hit the shore more than it hit here. Almost seemed like a little, I don't know, weather system just landed on Mendham.
Joseph Schmidl was still cleaning up.
And now we have this heavy snow, and I'm worried about trees falling again and taking lines down.
He saw the danger of the 2 storms back to back.
Yeah, probably about 4 in our neighborhood. One right across the street, neighbor. So they have lines all over their front lawn, and they don't have electricity yet, but we're fortunate to have it.
As for the roads,
pretty bad. The plows haven't been out yet. Nobody's out yet. I'm just starting to do some driveways that are big, so I hit them. I'll hit my driveways twice, basically. I'm going to do them now, clean them up, and come back when it stops because it's getting too heavy.
This plow driver says stay off of them. So the dig out continues here on Yardley Road, where people are working off of generators because they don't have power from last weekend's storm. We've had a plow come through here on Yardley Road in just the last hour, as you can see from the roads. Before that, the roads were terrible. And in fact, we got stuck in a driveway trying to pull out. But as you can see right now, at this point, the real worry is not only the power outages, but these trees that are coming down in this area. I mean, what'll happen is you'll hear a crackle, and then it's almost like a game of golf where you yell 4, because then after a moment you can see a tree or a branch come down at any point. Now, we did speak to JCP&L, and they said don't go near any down power lines. So that power line right there, which actually, by the way, caught fire at one point today, you should not go near that. If you have an outage, you're asked to text OUT, O-U-T, to 544487, and you can report your outage that way as well. Of course, you can also head to ready.nj.gov for more information on how to stay prepared during a storm like this. But for now, reporting live from Mendham, Tom Murphy, FiOS 1 News.
All right, Tom, and obviously keep aware there with those conditions. Thank you very much. Now, a few minutes ago, I spoke with the man who is running the state of New Jersey now, the new governor, Phil Murphy. Governor, I know it's been a long day and we still have a few more hours to go. What is the state of New Jersey right now, given all the concerns with the wind and snow?
Yeah, well, Richard, we're getting clobbered. There's no question about it. We called a state of emergency effective at 8 p.m. last night. That gave us a chance to get a longer runway to get ourselves prepared. It is about what we expected. It probably started with its intensity a little bit later on the snow side, so it was longer on the rain and high wind side. It's now snow in a lot of places in the state, including early on in the southern part. That was actually one of the earliest points of snow. And the counties that are getting clobbered are the ones we thought, in particular Hunterdon, Morris, Warren, and Sussex. And they got clobbered last weekend, and they already had 20-odd thousand outages, which is really frustrating for the folks who are out and for me personally. So they were starting in a little bit of a hole. I've been bouncing around the state all day, started with the State Police Command and Homeland Security, then the Traffic Monitoring Center, and then up into Morris County, one of the big utility staging areas. And, you know, we're bearing the brunt of it at the moment. We got a few more hours to go. It looks like it's into the evening. We got a lot of brave folks out there, whether they're plowing, whether they're up on fixing lines, whatever it might be, but this is a tough one.
Well, you mentioned utility, and I got to tell you, our station's been inundated with complaints regarding JCP&L. I'm going to read you a couple of the tweets here, and one's directly asking for a plea to your office. The first one comes from John, who's right now at Randolph. He says, Day 5, no power. We got 12 inches of new heavy wet snow on tree limbs, causing more damage to the power lines in our house. JCP&L, you better make sure the customers you didn't get to this past week are front of the list after this storm. And you guys are hashtag unacceptable. Alan writes, and this is directly a plea to you, Governor. He says, is there anything you can do to hold JCP&L responsible for poor post-storm planning? Are you open to a utility-funded program to partially offset costs of a backup generator? Governor, we need your help. To this point here, I got to tell you, that's a fraction of what we've heard, Governor. Are people right here to be living with JCP&L, both the pre-storm planning, and certainly what they've done in the aftermath?
Simple answer, yes. I was just in Randolph a couple of hours ago, and I can feel that pain. I could see it with my own eyes. So I don't blame folks for being outraged and frustrated and angry as heck. I do believe that they have prioritized, I don't want to speak for them, but they've prioritized the folks that were already out above the line to be first in line to get back on. But it is quite clear that there was a flat-footed response to this. And what we do in the aftermath, I'm not sure yet. We want to get through today, get through this storm. But there's going to be a postmortem, and it's going to be a sharp one. And we're going to need to understand exactly what happened and what didn't happen. I want to give shout-outs to some other utilities that actually lent linemen and women, both from within New Jersey and from other states. I met a bunch from other states earlier in Randolph. But these folks have every right to be angry. I'm angry. And so we're going to have to figure out, I'm not sure specifically where this heads, but when the dust settles, there needs to be a very clear, specific, hard-edged, fact-based postmortem as to how the heck this happened and how it can't happen again.
I know you weren't governor at the time, but when Sandy hit, Governor, there was all the postmortems, there was all the promises that never again, and some of the same mistakes were made, and you've heard it yourself. Some of the biggest frustrations are the false promises of when people are going to see the cavalry come and they never show, and then they'll show up that their homes have had power reestablished when they never were. So it's the lack of transparency and also, frankly, some of the falsehoods that are getting people as angry as lack of preparation and some of the ineptitude. And the thing I've heard today is, I've heard the promises before, it won't happen again. How do we ensure next time it won't?
Listen, I had this very conversation. I was on the phone with the leadership in the legislature on both sides of the aisle. Senate President Steve Sweeney and I were having the exact same conversation about what was said and all the promises that were made post-Sandy, and here we are seeing the damn movie again. So I don't blame folks to be cynical and say, come on, man. I want folks to distinguish, and I spoke to a tent full of linemen and linewomen, both from Jersey and from outside of Jersey. There are some very brave individuals going up on the buckets to fix these lines over the past number of days. It's not their fault. This is a corporate responsibility. There's a mindset here, clearly, that just has not learned from past mistakes. And we have to collectively make sure that this time we get it right, because we can't keep seeing the same darn movie.
By the way, PSE&G and other utilities, they're not having nearly the same problems that we're seeing, particularly at JCP&L. Finally, Governor, if there's advice you have to folks listening in New Jersey right now, I would assume it is stay off the roads unless you absolutely have to drive, right?
Richard, that is the absolute plea I would make. A couple of things. I was driving down. It took forever, and not surprisingly, down 287 south a couple hours ago. And even a modest amount of traffic is impairing our efforts to get things clean, and it's also putting people at risk. So stay home. Use common sense. If you've got questions, call 211. Or log on to www.ready.nj.gov. That's www.ready.nj.gov. Make sure you're fully informed, but please stay home, use common sense, This, I hope, will be passing in the next couple hours. We're then going to need some time to clean it up. Looks like the weather tomorrow is going to be largely good across the state, but please, for now, stay back.
All right, and we've put that information up on our screen for the residents. Good luck today and tonight, Governor. I appreciate a few minutes.
You're very, very much on my side. No problem, Richard. Thank you.
All right, coming up next, we're going to head out to Long Island to check on the conditions there, so please stay with us.